Chiz Critter, you don't understand. Everyone needs to trade all the time. I mean, you trade in your daily life, right? You trade time for work, for everything. Yeah, that's great. But the fundamentals are breaking down. And this is what ticks me off, man. Like, people talk to me and they say, well, but the fundamentals of X, Y, and Z corporation are good, and I think it's going to be looking good going into the future. The future right now is more uncertain than it's ever been. It really is. I mean, if you look at the trends of where everything's going, and I think people just, they don't look around the world. And it's a cascade, right? And you say, well, Greece, I mean, it's just, it's a country like this, right? It falls. Where's the next big one? What, Spain, Portugal? And people here in this country, the U.S., well, the U.S., I mean, come on, the fundamentals of these corporations are great. No, they're not. They're not. The whole Enron, basically, this right here is an Enron economy. It's based on the Federal Reserve, the federal inflation rate, which is massive. I mean, I know you've seen it in the grocery stores. Come on. It's about to end up catastrophically. And when I get in arguments with people like Robbie G, it really ticks me off because they say, well, people always trade. And you see, you're going to find an equilibrium somewhere. And, currencies and trading and all this, just, it goes on. It's just a human, part of the human society. I agree. Yes, trading, it goes on. Yes, absolutely. But there's going to be a lot of chaos if the larger system breaks down. I'm looking at the trains out here, right? What if they stopped? What would happen to your daily life? Like, most people don't really care about trains. Trains, whatever, I hear the horn every now and then. The commerce that those trains bring to your town, to your livelihood, to your grocery store is massive. Massive. And it's a tiny little fragment of the economy, right? Overall. But you take this one thing out, psh, the whole thing comes down like a house of cards. And that's why people are so worried about Greece. They're like, well, it's going to bring the euro down. Well, what happens when that happens? Well, the U.S. is going to crash. Well, but what about China? I heard that they were doing great things. Well, China's on the brink of collapse, too. What happens when China crashes? Well, Australia's going to crash, of course. And then every single other country that depends on all these larger countries. It frustrates me to no end that people don't care to really look around the world and how complex everything is. And this is something, back to Dmitry Orlov, something he said. He said, complex, highly efficient systems break down catastrophically. And it's interesting because he was referencing a cat, okay? So a cat is highly inefficient, meaning that a cat sleeps, 18 hours a day? And maybe hunts for 1 or 2 in the wild. Right? This is what they do. If they have a problem with food, well, they got 18 hours to tap into. We don't have that. We have made the economy so efficient that every single minute, every single hour has to be accounted for the ultimate level of efficiency. And if this doesn't happen, oh well. Like the dominoes start falling. I still don't understand why it isn't basic learning for every single American to know that in 2008, we were within hours of catastrophic economic collapse of the dollar. And that there would be martial law on the streets within days. People think that never happened. It did. Congress was warned about it. So, whatever. Robbie G, that's fine. Yes, trading will always go on. Whether it's with 7 billion people on the earth or, I don't know, 500 million people. We're just talking numbers here. It's all just trading, right?